tap that to my heart. Won't you tap that so I can start?
There's a part of you they tried to shame, silence, and erase. She's rising now. Silence was never our destiny. Today's message: they want you silent. Black Moon Lilith says no. Black Moon Lilith is more than astrology, mythology, symbology. There are many versions of the myth of Black Moon Lilith. One version, Lilith was named after Lilith in Jewish folklore. But Lilith predates written his story. Most of the focus on the myth of Lilith deals with her shadow aspects. The shadow aspects that live within all of us. But Lilith also symbolizes that which society and the patriarchy and the church has tried to shame, silence, and erase in women. One of the myths that you may be familiar with is the myth of Black Moon Lilith as the first wife of Adam in the biblical mythology, stories, parables. As the first wife of Adam, both Adam and Lilith were created from earth, so they were equal. But when Adam tried to sexually dominate Lilith, Lilith wasn't having it. She didn't want to be dominated. Lilith wasn't a bottom. She wanted to be on top. And when she did not submit to Adam, her husband, when she would not comply and obey, the myth goes, she was exiled, banished from the Garden of Eden. She became an enemy of the male God, defying the male God. She would rather be exiled and banished than comply. It was her choice to leave the oppressive Garden of Eden. So what happened? The patriarchy, the church, created Eve from the rib of Adam, not from earth, as Lilith was, not equal, because they wanted a version, a myth of a woman who was less than, who was tamed, who would comply. And then there's a version that says that Black Moon Lilith was also a serpent, the serpent that beguiled Eve to eat from the fruit. of knowledge, from the tree of knowledge. You have to love Black Moon Lilith. There's also the version of this myth of Lilith. Well, Lilith becomes angry that she was banished, angry that the male god wanted her to comply, that Adam wanted her to submit when she was his equal. So she, as the myth says, becomes angry and begins to feed her shadows. And that's what the church, the patriarchy, society wants you to take from this myth, from the astrology, from the symbology, that she was a demon, that she only had the shadow aspects. What I want you to remember, to harness from the myth of Lilith, is her power, her light spirit, her free spirit, her knowing of who she was. I want you to reclaim your inner Lilith and to say no. Black Moon Lilith not only symbolizes our shadow aspects that we must acknowledge, accept, heal, and integrate, but she also symbolizes the power that the church, patriarchy, and society wants to shame, silence, and erase within us. She symbolizes freedom, non-compliance, disobedience, individuality, wild, untamable spirit. She refuses the expectations of society. She fights against oppression. She's a protector of marginalized people and groups. She's a protector of outcasts, the outliers, those on the fringes of society. She is strong. She refused to submit, to comply, to obey. Lilith's myth story is what I'm asking you to harness. It's the story of refusing to submit, refusing to be silent, refusing to comply. It's the story of saying no. Black Moon Lilith's energy lives in every woman. We can see her energy expressed in such noted people as Erykah Badu, Tina Turner, Greta Thunberg, Martha Stewart, Naked Athena from the protests in Portland, Oregon, when she faced armed police naked during the Black Lives Matter protests movement. The black-bodied women who organize the Black Lives Matter movement. Cyndi Lauper, Annie Lennox, Lady Gaga, Madonna. These are women who harness their Black Moon Lilith energy. Lilith chose banishment over self-betrayal. Society, the patriarchy, the church, our parents, in some cases, many cases, condition little girls, women to be good, to be quiet, to be small. Compliance, silence, obedience kills creativity, spirit, and wildness. Have you ever shrunk yourself to fit someone else's comfort? We didn't come here to obey. We came here to awaken. Here's some ways to awaken your Black Moon Lilith energy, to reclaim your Black Moon Lilith energy. Develop self-trust, fierce self-love. Learn to set boundaries. Refuse oppression of any kind against anyone, any living being. Stand with like-minded people. Protect those on the fringes of society, the outcasts, the marginalized. Speak up, speak out against injustice. Explore those parts of yourself that trigger shame, insecurity, vulnerability, conformity, people-pleasing, being so damn nice. Do your inner shadow work. Face those parts of yourself that you were told to hide. In preparation for this message, I looked at my natal chart, my Black Moon Lilith placement, and watched a couple videos. My placement is in Taurus. And from watching this one particular video, I learned so much about why I behaved the way that I did when I was younger, and why that I still have that behavior, but I'm aware of it, and I've learned to harness it. I've learned to accept those shadow aspects from that placement of Black Moon Lilith and Taurus. Here's a little bit more of what I learned. Black Moon Lilith and Taurus, those of us with that placement tend to overindulge in food, sex, money. We tend not to be satisfied, so we can overindulge. We can have fears of scarcity and poverty because we may tend to overindulge in money, so we become careless. And explains so much about me growing up. I was born into my Black Moon Lilith energy, so much so that my mother tried to tame my mouth, because I was always speaking my truth. And it was fierce. So she told me, 7, 8, 9 years old, Tyffany, your tongue is so sharp. You could kill someone. You know, the Black Moon Lilith in Taurus loves pleasure. And I get pleasure from all the senses, which is the Black Moon Lilith in Taurus aspect of loving things that give us pleasure, smell and taste and touch. But that which we are taught to hide and suppress in the darkness must come up into the light to be healed. And is what happened to me. My exploration of me, learning who I am, the curiosity that I had and still have of knowing why I behave this way, why I have these desires and urges. I was able to acknowledge and accept my shadow aspects, to heal and integrate my shadow aspects to the point where I love my shadows. I no longer bear shame. You know, my family, they call me greedy. That's one of the names. They call me crybaby and they call me greedy. Call me greedy because I love to eat. That's one of the characteristics of the Black Moon Lilith in Taurus. The overindulgence, food, pleasure. So they call me greedy. And I don't care. I love to eat. I love to eat. But love who you are. Learn to love that which you've been told to hide. Learn to love those dark aspects of yourself. Harness their power and their energy. I invite you to unleash the Lilith within you boldly and without apology. I invite you to be curious about and explore your Black Moon Lilith natal placement, astrological placement. I invite you to journal with the prompt, where have I been compliant at the cost of my soul? I invite you to disobey, to not be silent, to not comply, to refuse to submit, and to do it boldly, fiercely, in love, and in peace. They wanted us tame. We were born wild. Stay wild. They wanted us silent. Silence was never our destiny.